With the Big Ten and Pac-12 officially back, this now seems like a somewhat normal college football season. How's it going, everyone? Blake here, and I'm finally back with some more college football content. The last few weeks have been extremely hectic as I covered the Dodgers for my full-time job, and they were kind of busy winning the World Series. Anyways, I'm back, and today I thought it would be fun to give you my updated top 5 Heisman candidates as we enter week 11 of the college football season. Before we get to today's video, make sure to click that subscribe button if you're new to the channel and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Before I get to my top 5, I want to share with you guys some of my brief honorable mentions. I want to get this one out of the way because I'm sure people will be upset that he's not in my top 5. Trevor Lawrence has missed 2 games in a row because of COVID and missed arguably Clemson's biggest game of the season this past weekend against Notre Dame. Now, don't get me wrong, he's the best quarterback in the country and has been fantastic this year. Through 6 games, he's completing 70% of his passes for 1,800 yards with 17 touchdowns and only 2 picks. However, he's likely only going to face one ranked team this season prior to the ACC title game, and he'll have 2 missed games under his belt. When he comes back, he could light things up and easily cement himself in the top 5, but I personally think there are too many other players who are more deserving of being on this list. It really is a shame that this award is so quarterback driven because it would be awesome to see a wide receiver win this award. When trying to figure out who the best wideout in the country has been this season, there's simply no debate. It's easily been Devontae Smith. In only 6 games this year, the junior has caught 56 passes for 760 yards with 8 touchdowns. He's averaging just under 10 catches, over 125 yards, and over a touchdown per game. That's insane. Again, he's a guy who could easily finish in the top 5, but realistically, I just can't see that happening, which is why I had to show him here some love in my honorable mentions list. This final one is more of a long shot, but after their win this weekend, maybe he can shoot up the standings. Ian Book pulled off the upset over Clemson this weekend, and he was fantastic doing so. He threw for 310 yards with a touchdown and added 70 yards on the ground as well. He currently has the Irish as the number 2 team in the country, and they look as if they're ready to compete for a national championship. His numbers won't blow you away for the year, as he's known for only 1,500 yards with 8 touchdowns, but he does have only 1 interception while also adding 300 yards on the ground with 5 rushing touchdowns. If Notre Dame is able to keep winning, he can be a sneaky finalist at the end of the year. Alright, enough of my honorable mentions, let's get to my top 5. I just mentioned earlier that this is a quarterback award, but we've seen in the past that running backs can in fact win this too. So with that being said, I have Travis Etienne coming in at number 5. Instead of entering the NFL draft this past year, Etienne opted to return to Clemson for his senior season, and boy is it really paying off. He has been arguably the best all-around running back in college football this season, as he's rushed for over 600 yards with 10 rushing touchdowns. What has really separated him from other running backs is his role in the passing game, which is the main reason he wanted to return to Clemson. He's already tied a career high with 37 catches and has set a career high with 491 receiving yards while catching 2 touchdowns. Since I don't see Trevor Lawrence finishing in the top 5, Clemson's best bet with a finalist is Travis Etienne. There's some other running backs who have been really good this year in college football, but I think Etienne has been the best all-around running back, and with Clemson being one of the best teams in the country, it definitely helps his case. My next guy will definitely be finishing in the top 3, but since he's only played 3 games so far, I have him currently sitting at number 4. Justin Fields has been electric so far this year, throwing for 900 yards with 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Oh, and he's completing 87% of his passes too. Fields is coming off a phenomenal game against Rutgers in which he threw for over 300 yards with 5 touchdowns and only 4 incompletions. On this season, he has as many touchdown passes as incomplete passes. Now, he will have 5 more games to add on the numbers and improve his campaign, including a potential top 10 matchup with Indiana in 2 weeks. Like I said, he's deserving of being near the top of the list, but I want to see him get a few more games under his belt until I can put him in my top 3. Before I get to my top 3, please take a second to give this video a thumbs up. It doesn't seem like it, but every thumbs up really helps the video out and it helps it reach more college football fans. It only takes a second and I would greatly appreciate it. Alright, on to my top 3. Before the season began, I had Kyle Trask in my top 3 for the Heisman. He started off hot, but a loss to Texas A&M dropped him in my rankings. Now, after an incredible showing against Georgia, he's back in my top 3. This past weekend against the Bulldogs, Trask completed 70% of his passes for nearly 500 yards with 4 touchdowns, and most of those numbers came in the first half. With Florida being up by so much in the second half, Trask essentially took his foot off the gas with a big lead. In only 5 games this season, he's thrown 22 touchdowns with only 3 3 interceptions while completing 69% of his passes for 1,800 yards. Florida has a very favorable schedule to close out the season, so I don't see them losing another game in the regular season. If Florida is able to win out and Trask continues to put up these crazy numbers, I don't see there being any way he doesn't end up as a finalist. I really want to put this guy at 1, largely due to me buying in on the hype at the start of the season, but I got Zach Wilson at number 2. Wilson is a legitimate quarterback that very well might end up going in the first round of next year's draft. I get that BYU is undefeated and ranked in the top 10, but I have a really hard time believing he can win it all. But hey, in a strange year, anything is possible. On the season, Wilson is completing 75% of his passes with over 2,500 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. He's also added 8 touchdowns on the ground as well, giving him a combined 29 touchdowns in only 8 games. If this would have been a normal season with BYU playing 12 games plus a bowl game, he'd be on pace for just under 50 total touchdowns. The biggest knock on Wilson in his Heisman campaign for the whole year was the fact that he hadn't played any good teams yet. Well, he sure shut everyone up this past weekend. He went on the road to play top 25 team in Boise State and embarrassed them. He completed nearly 80% of his passes for 360 yards with 3 total touchdowns. Unfortunately, Wilson only has 2 games remaining the rest of the season, and they're both very winnable games for BYU. They'll finish the season 10-0, and he'll finish with outstanding numbers. The only thing that may hurt him is the fact that his season will be done with a lot of other players still playing, possibly helping them leapfrog him in the voting. Coming in at number 1 is someone we all thought had a chance to win the Heisman this year, largely due to his weapons, but we just wanted to see how it would play out first. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Mac Jones has sold us. After taking over for Tua Tagovailoa last year, Jones has been excellent in his first full season as the starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide. In 6 games, he's completing just under 79% of his passes for 2,200 yards. He's thrown 16 touchdowns with only 2 interceptions. He's done it against the best in the country, as he's already defeated Texas A&M and Georgia, who are both top 15 teams in the nation. In those 2 games, he threw for just under 900 yards with 8 total touchdowns. As I mentioned, he has some of the best weapons in the nation, but he's using them to his advantage. Alabama is currently the number 1 team in the country, and that's mainly due to Jones's incredible play. Barring a loss, which looking at Alabama's schedule seems unlikely, I expect the Tide to win out and for Mac Jones to remain the favorite until someone could take the top spot from him. Well, that wraps up my Heisman list. Who would you have in your top 5? Were there players who you thought I was too high or too low on, or players I didn't even mention that should be on this list? Drop a comment down below and let me know. If you haven't done so already, please take a second and give this video a thumbs up, and make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a college football video moving forward. It's free and you get lots of great college football content from it. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all very soon.